Before we get into tonight's offerings, of course, it being a week before Christmas, I will now give my second annual Christmas message. Of course, it being the holidays, no holidays complete without some booze. Jack Daniels is the reason why I like to drink it is because around this time of year, many years ago, back when I had hair and hopes and dreams, I went into a liquor store for the first time, and I said I would like to buy a booze, please. Can you sell me a booze? And I bought Jack Daniels, and so I've been drinking it ever since. Of course, there are other whiskeys out there that are better, but you can't go wrong with the classics, you know what I mean? It's like those old guys that wear that t-shirts that say, I'm not old, I'm classic. And it's like, you're probably both, son, I'm sorry to say. But anyways, here's to you this holiday season. Hopefully, if you had a bad year, next year you have a good year. And if this year was a good year for you, hopefully next year is even better. Here's to swimming with bow-legged women. That's going to leave some strange memories later tonight, if you know what I mean. And I think you do. Okay. Now that we've had our whiskey and a beer to chase it with, I'll give you now my Christmas message. So this year, now for those of you who are new, last year, I just took a random part of the Christmas story and, thought about some ideas out loud with it. So this year, it's going to be the same. And so I wanted to talk to you this year about shepherds in the field from the Gospel of Luke. Right, so the shepherds that, of course, the angels appeared to and were told about the forecoming of the baby Jesus. Now, before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, non-binaries of the internet, we do need to have some context for shepherds. Now, shepherds back in those days, not very well liked, probably due to their profession. You're stinky around animals all the time, so they were seen as less than. And I like to think when I'm reading these stories and hearing people's commentaries on them, I like to think of them as, the archetype of the everyman. Joe Blow Ravage, the guy that just wants to work his job and go home, provide for his family. Nothing extraordinary happens to this guy until he does. David going off to fight Goliath. These shepherds here getting told about the baby Jesus. Now, shepherds, again, not treated very well. And it makes me think about all the times that I've been or treated people much like the shepherds were back then, they had an encounter with the divine, and it makes me think about all the people I've met in my life or the stories that you read about random, seemingly normal, because we all like to think we're special, but the truth is we're not. Most of us are remarkably average. We're not David fighting Goliath, and we're not Ruth or anything like that. We're just regular people going about our lives. And, there are every so often, you sit down with an old person and they tell you a really interesting story, just a fascinating story. You know the kind I'm talking about that makes you stop and it reveals some truth about you that you didn't know, or some hidden truth that you hadn't been made aware of until you sat down and talked to that old person, or the times that you helped an old person cross the street. These are all sorts of situations that you can get yourself into where you can encounter the divine. So I would just say, as we wrap up this year and we begin next year, that I would encourage you to maybe have a conversation with somebody that you wouldn't normally have a conversation with, much like a shepherd or an old person, or to seek out opportunities to encounter the divine, even if you don't necessarily believe in that sort of thing, okay? There's all sorts of things just waiting for you out there in the world. Go to a museum, a random painting exhibit at a museum. See a movie that you wouldn't normally see. There's been plenty of those out there. You don't have to go see the Disney Marvel affairs or even the Star Wars affairs. You can go see an interesting, little indie flick. I'm sure your town has an art house cinema that you can go to experience such a thing. The easiest way to encounter, and this is a heavily biased opinion given that I was born with a mental illness and the ability to be self-aware, so here I am performing for you all, but the easiest way to encounter the divine is through art, through museums, through films, through literature, and what have you. And so that is my Christmas message for you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you're not bothered by that. Some of you I lost you at Shepherds in the Field because some of you go, well, if they're in the fields, the Christmas story wouldn't be taking place in the winter. And it's like, yeah, obviously, just let us enjoy the holiday season. Scrooge. In any case, happy holidays to you. I hope the season is nice.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.